I'm 5'10" and 242 pounds.
I always say this is the biggest I'm ever going to be, and I said that like 20 pounds ago.
A third of Americans are obese, another third is overweight.
Obesity is the biggest threat to the health, welfare, and future of this country.
I've always been overweight.
I've got diabetes.
Sleep apnea, heart disease.
Everything's hurting now.
It's a lot easier to lose weight than it is to keep weight off.
This is probably going to be the first generation of children who are going to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents.
18% of our children right now are obese.
It's not only health, it's about survival and well-being of the United States as a nation.
You don't crave broccoli, and our generation has grown up craving a Big Mac.
I want to think that there's something better for me.
Unless we're able to control this epidemic, we're going to have an abundance of chronic disease.
All of us have to be part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price.
Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Revolution. We're on the cusp of unleashing long-hidden secrets buried deep in our DNA.
DNA sequencing, it's a profound game changer.
Visionary technology now promises to end deadly diseases and gives us the key to immortality itself.
DNA can absolutely help feed and heal this world across.
Now it's happening in the world of private enterprise, propelling this technology directly onto the mass market for everyone to access. Every health issue we're destined to encounter can be detected and cured. Scientists are finding innovative approaches to gene expression profiling.
Gene expression in science is how a gene functions. When you activate a gene, it will make a protein. Gene expression is related to whether that particular gene is activated or inactivated, if you will, to make less protein. The human genome is the book of life. And we have finally been able to understand what is written in this book of life.
Technology is riding a wave of new genetic applications led by sequencing, which is changing the way we look at ourselves and the world around us. Through genetic mapping, we are opening up a safer world where we can live healthier lives and cure illnesses that were once deadly.
DNA sequencing is being used to solve real-world problems today.
As we map out our future, we are now discovering genes do not govern our fate. The future is DNA.
Let me tell you the dirty secret of dieting. Dieting makes you fat. Don't believe me? In the next 90 seconds, I'll prove it. This is Bob. Bob wants to look good at his reunion, at the beach, or just look better naked. So Bob diets and loses 30 pounds. That's great, right? Wrong. Losing 30 pounds and thinking you're healthy is like cutting off both of your arms and celebrating for losing weight. The scale doesn't matter. Everyone has what we call an internal body engine, which consists of your organs and your lean muscle. Your body engine is always running and burning calories. As long as your body engine is running properly, you'll burn calories naturally. When Bob dieted and lost 30 pounds, what he didn't know was only 20 pounds of what he lost was fat. The other 10 pounds were lean muscle from his body engine, and therefore lowered the number of calories he burns naturally. So Bob gets off his diet and falls back into his normal eating habits. But since his body engine isn't burning as many calories anymore, all of those extra calories that aren't being used go straight to fat. Bob gains more than he weighed before, and so he diets again. But he damages his body engine again and gains even more. He's fallen into the vicious cycle of dieting. So what's a guy to do? Through our weight management programs and unique technology, we focus on body fat percentage and strengthening your body engine, aka building your lean tissue to burn calories naturally. A bigger body engine burns more calories, meaning you'll maintain a healthy body for months and years ahead. Yes! You'll know you're in great shape when you lose inches and your body fat percentage lowers. Now, Bob is looking great at his reunion, looking better at the beach, and looking his best when he's naked. We're changing the way the world sees dieting and health. You can do it too. Want to know how? Call me.
Ageloc TR90 is the only body shaping and weight management program at the genetic level. 90 days to transform your lifestyle. Get one.
Finally feel like I'm myself again.
I've done a triathlon. I'm working on my next one in June. And frankly, I'm changing my life.
Scott, I know you have Jose Banks on speed dial. If we're really going to wear these in Bermuda, I'm going to need those guys to work a miracle for me.
Most people don't know that I'm going to do this or that there's even a challenge for me because it's not necessarily the first thing they see when they look at me, and they're unaware of the prices that I'm paying around my self-esteem and the relationship that I have with me in making agreements and keeping agreements with myself. And so I think that's also going to be the biggest opportunity, because a lot of times people will see the end result and go, oh, we've always been like that, or that wasn't a challenge for you. So I'm halfway through my 90-day challenge journey, and I must admit that in the beginning I was nervous about a few things. I was nervous about what was going to happen when I made healthy lifestyle choices and adjustments, and for me that looked like taking out caffeine, sugar, and alcohol, and also breads out of my diet and nutrition, and then the withdrawals that would happen from that. And this is the first weight management system that I have used that I did not have any withdrawals from those things. So from day one, I felt like I had great energy, no headaches, no fatigue, and just felt really incredible on the system. It is day 66. I just finished up my workout. I'm feeling incredible on TR90. So far down 17 pounds and 7% body fat. As you can see, I'm working hard. However, the results are so worth it, and I'm excited for my next 90 days.
Okay, well,
Greg gave you a great understanding of what we're trying to do in weight management. And I thought I would put a scientific spin to the whole deal just to make sure that you understand where we're coming from. Because I think this is one of the most exciting product development projects that all the scientists have been involved with. And I think we've reached a point. We did cross the Rubicon on this one. And essentially, I think we have produced something that surprised even us in science, because the first open-label clinical study that we did showed us results that we have not seen before. So let me take you through this. And fundamentally, if we talk about weight management system, and Greg has alluded, in fact, more than alluded to the reality that in most diet systems, when you go through that program, although you get on a weight, on a scale, and you see that you've lost weight, but what you have actually lost is not just fat, but you lost muscle too. So for all intents and purposes, what we're trying to do with TR90 is to change that equation, that what you are going to lose and what you are going to really not get back would be the fat. But we want to make sure that none of that weight is associated with muscle loss. So that's really the key with TR90. And again, I think there's a deliberate attempt on our part to make sure that we don't consider this to be just a weight loss program. It's really a body composition and weight management system. And it's not just about a single product. It's really the aggregation and the end result of the whole system that's producing this wonderful health benefit from the TR90 when you start using the TR90 system. So we're changing the equation, and fundamentally it's not just our word, that most of the diets that you've been using, or some of you may have tried, that they actually involve and have been associated with muscle loss. Many scientific studies have been conducted with such diets, and they've shown time and time again that when you lose the weight, when you step on the scale and you see weight loss, what you are seeing, close to 40% of that weight loss is associated with muscle. So that's really not a good thing, because when you lose the muscle, ultimately that explains why you experience what Greg has been telling you, that yo-yo phenomenon that happens. Invariably, right, when you get off a diet, what do you see at 12 months from now? There is a regain, or there's a gaining back of your weight. And these studies have shown it. And I also want you to make sure that when you look at the types of studies that have been conducted scientifically, another interesting point that have been lost in weight management is the fact that protein plays an absolute key role in weight management. That's the only way you can actually build muscle is through protein intake. Nothing else builds muscle. Carbohydrates, they don't build muscle. Fat clearly doesn't build muscle. It's only proteins. And again, it's something we're focused on in R&D to make sure that within this TR90 system, we have a protein shake, or to make sure that the system contains enough protein. And not just a matter of the amount of protein, it's how and when you take that protein that is also pretty key in making sure that you're a healthy weight loss or a weight management system. So, Ageloc TR90 is all about body composition then, and making sure that you maintain muscle. We, as I've mentioned time and time again, as you leave here today, remember, it's not just about losing weight, it's about losing fat. That's the only type of tissue in your body you would want to lose. What does that all translate to then? There are really just three simple end results, if you will, that we wish to get from TR90. The first thing that we want to make sure is that your basal metabolic rate, in other words, your metabolism increases with the use of TR90 system. We believe we have found a way, and we have developed one of the supplements to be able to improve your metabolic rate. Because when you have a higher basal metabolic rate, in other words, the resting rate, clearly I think you can appreciate that it will burn more calories. So that's an important key step in healthy weight management systems. The second one I've talked about is obviously preserving at the very minimum the lean muscle that you have. because any loss in muscle translates to a decrease actually in the basal metabolic rate as well. So that's an important second component of the TR90 system. And then finally, the third one, and this is where another organ kicks in when you want to talk about healthy weight management system, and that's your brain. Because we now know from many studies now by other scientists and studies that have been conducted in terms of how people can preserve a healthy weight, is that if you don't somehow teach your brain that you are full and you are satisfied with what you have eaten, invariably that will lead to you eating more. So for all intents and purposes, when you think about it along those lines, then you would conceptually arrive at a point where you would conclude that the brain is absolutely important. If we don't have an ability or have some component of the TR90 system helping you to control your appetite and helping you to have a sense of satiety, I don't think we will be able to achieve the results that we hope in TR90. So those are the three things. It's pretty exciting, the TR90 system, because it's such a breakthrough for the scientists to be able to use our Ageloc science, couple that with clinical studies, and be able to choose natural ingredients that can go and comprise these supplements. Plus, with its new insights that we have developed related to protein and how and when you should be eating those proteins, this TR90 system is the best that we have ever produced here in Nu Skin.
The overweight population has grown exponentially over the last 20 years. In fact, since 1980, the number of overweight people has more than doubled in the world.
And we really feel like we can contribute to the science in this area, especially leveraging from the science that we've been involved in the last few years, specifically gene expression science and our relationship with LifeGen Technologies, the ability previously to measure aging at the genetic level, and now to be able to screen for ingredients that may have an impact on gene expression that may be relevant in the weight management area. Well, there are so many different, what you might call traditional approaches to weight management. It's really hard to put your finger on any one in particular, but in general, it seems that perhaps they're not working. The evidence is that more and more people are gaining weight and having difficulty. So there are some important learnings there. And again, we've been in this nutrition industry for a couple of decades or more now, and we have gained a lot of experience. Certainly there are some key learnings. One is that a typical person really believes it's just calories in and calories out. And the average person then will say, okay, I need to drop calories, so eat less. And also the way that calories go out is by exercising, right? That's how we do it. So eat less, exercise more. What we are finding with that is that people are losing weight, but unfortunately they're losing adipose tissue or fat, and also muscle, which is actually critical to hold on to and not to lose. There's good reasons for that. You know, this muscle is your metabolic engine. The energy that you expend when you are not exercising actually accounts for most of the energy that is expended. And it's logical when you think about it. Most people don't exercise 24 hours a day. So we need to pay attention to your metabolism while you're resting, and that means maintain lean muscle. The right approach will actually help you to maintain lean muscle mass. It's not just about calories in and calories out anymore.
And that's correct, Mark, because I think the key thing to remember is that in a weight management program, it's not just about weighing yourself on a scale, because that doesn't tell you whether you are preserving at the minimum lean muscle. I believe that gene expression science is an important advance in our understanding of weight management. And particularly, there is a lot of new research findings associated with gene expression and how this phenomenon is impacting or affecting overweight people. As we all know, that with gene expression, the ultimate outcome of gene expression is the production of proteins, and these proteins play a very important role in how the body functions, in fact, how the body puts on weight, and how the body gathers and stores fat.
And in fact, I think it's important for people to understand that our approach has always been to target the sources of any nutritional issues. And as we understand the genes, really that's going as far upstream as you can go to understand the sources of an issue. So certainly this is something that we can apply to weight management in a very fruitful way.
What we have found, in fact, is that there are certain groups of genes which we have called youth gene clusters that when they express themselves, and that's in the wrong way, they have an influence or an effect on weight management.
As you said, Joe, our approach is not just to look at one magic gene, but actually there are many genes that express themselves in the human body. So that's why you use the word clusters, of course. The three main groups that we've found are groups that are involved in metabolism overall, and in maintenance of lean muscle, and also in appetite control. So these are genes that are expressed differently, and also in different parts of the body, but they all have an impact on weight management.
Yes, and in fact what that implies really that instead of using gene expression science to focus on just the fat tissue, we are also trying to see whether there are some things that we have to influence in the brain, for example, and also in the gastrointestinal tract. So if we can somehow influence all three aspects of these body tissues, we will have a much more profound impact on how we can control weight. An ideal or optimal weight management system should really consist of 4 key elements. The first key element is related to the fact is to adopt a healthy eating plan. A second key element is to make sure that lean muscle is not lost during a weight management program. Another third element that we should focus on is really on fat tissue. When you lose weight, all that loss of weight should come from fat and no other tissue from your body, so that we can shape better, i.e. that our body composition reaches a healthy level, so you look better in front of a mirror and not just getting on a scale. And finally, the fourth element would be related to the fact that you should adopt a healthy exercise program.
But in order to understand those key points better, it's nice to know what's going on in the body and in the cells. And gene expression science actually helps us to get a handle on that. What's going on in the adipose tissue? What's going on in the muscle? Are you eating the right kinds of food? Are you maintaining your lean muscle mass? Is this the right approach? An understanding of gene expression science can help to bolster our understanding about how we manage our weight. What we eat during a weight management program turns out to be incredibly important. The quality of the food that you're eating, but not just that, not even just the proportions, but actually the right kind of macronutrient in terms of whether it's protein, fat, or carbohydrate, and also spread out properly during the day. So you need to have a certain amount minimum of protein, for example, to maintain an amino acid pool in your body that's going to help you maintain muscle mass. It's going to be anabolic, because it's actually helping to maintain the lean muscle tissue. And you can't overstate the importance of maintaining that lean tissue, because that's your metabolic engine. And that's the problem with a lot of traditional diets, is you lose that muscle mass, so that by the time your diet is over, you've lost some of that metabolic engine. That means that the calories that you're eating are not being expended in the same way that they were.
You cannot sustain a diet. Diets are not sustainable. Our program consists of an eating plan which is sustainable, that you can adopt for the rest of your life. We have now completed in the weight management category all the studies at the preclinical stage, we call it, where we now know what is the gene expression profile that can occur with the ingredients we have put into certain weight management products. And we have now advanced to a stage where we are understanding how weight management happens in a clinical study.
We've just completed fairly recently a study that had about 70 people in it, about 2/3 of those women, and we're able to present those data at a recent very large meeting of scientists called Experimental Biology in Boston this year, and that was interesting. Also, we have another study underway, a larger study in fact, with about 140 people at least in this study. So this will give us an understanding of how all of our homework has paid off.